Hey everybody, welcome to Thursday Talk. This is an event-based scenarios we're going to be covering tonight. And tonight's event is after the East Coast tsunami. What are your plans now? Alrighty. So how's everybody doing out there today? All right. So let me get up here to the comments and see who all's in here. Oh, wow, let's jump around there. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought Walt Rogers was first one in here. I never saw the one from CB a half an hour earlier. Wow. Anyway, so the first one in was CB at Hugo Homestead, then Walt Rogers. Then I freeze. Then Super Scout, and followed by Bountiful Harvest Abbey, Uncle Al at Die Bullfrog 79, CR, Creative Redundancy from North of the Border, the Evil Twins in here, and we got Kathy D, Salt and Light, and Aiden Air, and Bruce Lamaski. Tibor is here. Rebel Canners is in the house. Gardner Josh is here. Howie, Food Forest Permaculture. Another one from North of the Border. And Shady Hill Homestead's here. Everyone's talking back and forth. Good. Jay is in the house. And all right, Joe. All right, I got a comment on Jay's comment there. Jay, you go right on ahead and pretend you're Snake Plissken. See how many people catch that reference. Kaylin Strain's here. Mary Beth Smith. Yeah, everybody's talking back and forth. I love it. Saying hi to friends and everything. Cosmic Cultivators is here. Hey, Chris. And Courtney. Wide Family Farm. Hey, Chris. Since you live right on the East Coast, if you go to Courtney's link group there on Facebook, I put the link in there. Come on up here, because I want since you're right there on the coast, I want to know what your feelings are on this. All right. I was hoping Bruce was going to come in with some of his Emergency Operations Center background stuff to talk about this. So, first of all, this is going to be sort of like a multiple stage one, not normal like the other ones I've done where we gave you the background, we run with it, because the background people are throwing out there, you could grow some great roses with. Yeah. So we're going to go over first what the fearmongers are putting out there. Oh, Dave, Southern Ohio Prepping's in the house. Hey, Dave. So we're going to put out what the fearmongers are saying about this on all the channels and talk about what they're saying is going to happen on the East Coast. And then we'll run with that as if that actually happened. Not going to. Anyways, so we're going to pretend that happened. And then we're going to, after a little bit, we're going to drop back and we're going to look at the real scientific data. These other channels are totally ignoring and going, oh, no, we're not going to go. We got to go with our fear porn and our fear mongering here. So we're going to go check that stuff out first, and then we're going to move into the rest of it. Hey, Emma, how's it going? Courtney, can you send Chris the link? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to see if I get Courtney send you the link there, Chris. All right, so let's bring this up, and we will go over here. Boom, there we go. So the East Coast tsunami, and so let's. Hey, Keith Cronk's in the house. All righty. So what this is going off of is back in September, the little island here of Palermo started having a boatload of earthquakes. And there's a volcano out there, several volcanoes, but only one of them's active. This is the Canary Islands, and they're big. There's a big worry about if it breaks off, a side of the volcano breaks off and slides down in the ocean, it's going to cause a massive tidal wave. Okay. And so we'll get into that here in a little bit more on the scientific side, but so that's the premise. Besides all these guys saying, this is gonna happen. Well, this is one of the maps put out by one of those fear porn channels. And what's interesting is the only thing he has partially right is that I froze again. Up here for the UK, the height here is double what it was from a much stronger earthquake. We'll talk about that one too. I was up here off of Portugal, and it only hit up there with like 10-foot tsunami waves. Stacy R's in the house. Anybody else slip in here? Okay. And anyway, so they're saying that it's going to come across here. And it'll take about 8 hours for it to get to the East Coast, but it's going to be 130 to 160 foot high waves moving at 650 miles an hour. Well, that's how fast it's going to be traveling. And that's scientifically based. But we'll get back to killing the fear porn stuff later. The next one here, put out by another channel, that says, going to be 50-meter high. That's 64 feet high. No, 164 feet high waves coming in, and all this area here, Florida, just about all of Florida, parts of Georgia, half of South Carolina, a third of North Carolina, on up in here is all going to be underwater. Well, in reality, it's only going to be 20 to 30 feet maximum. And here's Chris. Hey, Chris.
What's going on, buddy?
All right. So this is another one of those fear porn ones, saying how bad it's going to be way beyond scientific reason. But let's get on here and go over a couple more things here. Now, there's now La Palma, which is down here where my cursor is barely moving. You can barely see it down here. It's down here. There's another one up here they're worried about. And then, of course, the one up here by Portugal. So these are other ones that have possibility of sending out tsunamis if there's whatever's there causes it. So let's go on the next one here. This is historical. This is not fear porn. This is historical. 1755, there was a huge earthquake off the coast of Portugal, wiped out a lot of cities. I mean, is it Lisbon? That I'll have to look. I got the paperwork here on coming up here, but it took out 85% of the buildings in the city, left a fault line in the middle of the city about 16 feet wide. So, but this happened here, and what's interesting is for this huge monster thing, there's not very many records of any waves hitting the U.S. Down in Brazil, one of the ports down there, they said there was a letter back to the king back there saying, "Oh, we had some giant waves here, but no real property damage, just some big waves." So that's historical fact. The one that everyone is really worried about in government circles is up here off of in the Caribbean. And so we'll get to that one in a minute, I think. Wrong way. Let me take a quick look here. Yeah, we'll get back to that one there in a minute, and we'll drop down here. So according to a lot of these guys out there throwing out, it's going to be disastrous. We're going to have 160-foot tidal waves hitting the East Coast. We're going to be, and it's like, okay. And the theory behind these type of discussions here on Thursday night is, okay, all you fearmonger worshipers, it happened. Now what's your plan? And everybody else is like, okay, these guys got their way. It happened. what's your plan? What are you going to do now? So what's your, Chris, do you know what your elevation is for your house?
So my water table is 4 feet below my surface table, my
Mm-hmm.
ground level. So if I dig a hole 4 feet deep, water starts flooding in. I am approximately 24 feet above sea level, I believe was the right
Mm-hmm.
number. And I am 5.5 miles away from the ocean where my house is. So I'm like right there. I have done my research a little bit on the ocean levels where you can play with how far they rise up and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten to about 10 feet, and I still have another half mile before it starts affecting me in my area. My main concern is the nuclear power plant, which is in my backyard. That is right on the ocean front itself. They use the ocean water to cool the reactors underneath, or whatever that process is.
Right.
If it does come in any more than 10 feet, there could be a lot of nuclear radiation spreading. Considering our nuclear plant should have been closed down a decade ago, it's full of cracks, and their resolution is just pouring more concrete over it to keep it going. If you want a little more information on that, Gil, that's Seabrook, New Hampshire nuclear plant, and you
Okay.
can find up all the horrible things they've been doing for the last 10 years.
All right. So going back to one of these slides here,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying that it's going to come in 12 and a half miles inland.
That's what they say, but that's also well, what are the figures there? Is that a 300-foot wave? Is that
That's
what it says?
That's 130 to 160-foot wave. From what
Okay.
you just said, if a wave 100 feet tall, just 100 feet came in, it's going to go a lot more than 12 miles inland.
Possibly.
That's just what some of the numbers these guys grabbed from different places and they put together. That doesn't match the scientific stuff we'll get to later on.
Yeah,
But
you kind of have to take an average of everything, and okay, this is the worst case scenario, this is the best case scenario. That in between is where your answer should be.
yeah. So, all right. So it says 8 hours from the time La Palma falls into the sea and causes a tsunami.
I've heard 5 to 8, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 8 hours. How are you? How would that affect you?
It would directly affect me. Like I said, anything more than about 15 feet, I start getting inundated with water. So something like 100, 120 feet, there's going to be, however many feet above my head. I actually am, I don't want to call myself a prepper because you're never fully prepped for everything, but I am prepared. I have 3 different plans. We have a bug out bag in our car for an what scenario, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
We have grab and go stuff in the house, and then we have the luxury items for the third case. So it's like, okay, we have time, we'll grab everything. Oh, we have a little time, grab this, or let's go get in the car. And our plan is to go to the mountains, which is 90-minute drive from my house.
So 90-minute drive. So half hour to load up the car. That gives you 6 hours. You have to notify. You have to find out within 6 hours after the event happened to be able to get out of there.
I have the earthquake and everything else on my phone. So I get notified anything over 2.5, buddy.
Yeah. So then you and your wife are ready to go. I mean, if you had 4 hours time to get there, get everything going and get gone, you could do it. Of course, you'd probably, as soon as you found out about it, head home if you weren't home already, and then start, listening to all the news reports, find out how big it's supposed to be, and start packing and get out of there so you're not caught in traffic.
So that's the beautiful thing about sitting here doing the fear porn type thing, as some people would call it. It's like No, we're prepared for the situation. When you were learning about this from the lamestream media, I'm already reacting. I'm already ahead of you a half hour, 45, whatever time slot. That's why it's good to have these conversations. And tonight I was hoping you'd bring me up here because, like I said, I'm right on the East Coast, so I know all about La Palma. The other two, I'm not so worried about because the Cape kind of protects us from one, and then Nova Scotia protects us from the other. La Palma is my main concern.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the map here. If from Spain down to La Palma, and the ones in between would be the ones that. Oh, and here's the other thing too. It depends which way the shift is, which way the most of the tsunami is going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're totally wrong on La Palma.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
instead
exactly.
of falling
what
off
the volume of what direction it goes.
Instead of the west side falling off, if the east side falls off, the west coast of Africa is screwed.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that all mountain ranges anyway? There, if I'm not mistaken.
There's a bit there, but they're going to get hit by the wave first, and so it's going to there. And over here, we're probably not going to get hardly, maybe. Oh, we got 3 inches increase.
Yeah. Insignificant.
Yeah. Hey, Carol.
But
Fishes and Loaves is in the house.
There's also there was evidence of this happening in Alaska in like.
I got that. I got all that information down
okay.
here coming
I'll
up.
let you, I won't ruin it then. So you know where I'm going with that. So we kind of have a scale of what would happen. So
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So so basically, even if the fear porn guys are right, and you get 160-foot wave coming at you, you're gone. Where you personally and your family are gone.
And about 20 miles inland, I would guesstimate, just because of all the tree fall, all the boats and everything just going along with it. Yeah, like 20 miles inland, I think would be toast.
Yeah.
Especially Boston. Boston would be a nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
So would DC.
Yeah.
Darn, the swamp's going to get flushed.
Not much will change, right? Just more swamp water.
You get all the salt water coming in, just kind of just washes it all out. No, anyways, that's a political
Hopefully it'll
statement.
wash all the sharks back out with it, right?
Yeah. All right. So, So I mean, that's one of the things they're talking about. Like, I know, Carol of Fishes and Loaves Life is down there in Florida. According to one map, she's toast.
Yeah.
I mean, according to it, she cannot get out of Florida in time.
Yeah.
Of course, the also thing is, that map. I just got to laugh. I'm going to bring that one up again because I got to laugh at this one. Okay, here we go. All right, so 50 meters, 164 feet, comes in. Well, wait a minute. No, there's a lot more than just these couple little white specks down here on Florida. It's higher than 164 feet. There's just a couple of white specks here, according to this. The high point of in Florida is 327 feet, I believe it is.
Is that up in the Panhandle though, like deep inland?
No, this is supposed to be down lower.
Really?
Yeah.
So
there's some points down there that are a little bit higher. But there are some points. They're not covering all the panhandle here. There's a little bit here that they're not covering, but there's several points along there that are above 200 feet.
So this is a perfect example why we should be talking about this. I was unaware of those high points in Florida.
Yeah.
I thought 20, 30 feet just wiped Florida off the map, like just nothing left.
And I mean, because there's an interesting thing. If you pick a state, and actually here, let me drop this down for a second and bring the other one up here. Where is it here? Okay, well, let's go over here and actually look at something else first. But I'm going to bring it up in this too. So when this is the name of the volcano on La Palma. I can't pronounce it. It's Spanish.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to back, and you can see all these little divots here. Those are other volcanic vents.
Mhm.
This one here is the only one that's active on the island. So let me back out here as we get backing out, and we can see it.
These are the Canary Islands, right?
Yes, the Canary Islands. So let's get back out here. We'll bring it back down. Oh, wait a minute. Here's this huge old one that used to be there. And the reason why they're thinking that the side of it is going to fall off is because there's this big gouge in it up here.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the problem is, this is the one that's active down here. And that's about 10 miles away from the old crater.
Mhm.
And it's like the Hawaiian Islands. It's building from the north to the south. So the south is the newest stuff. Because basically on the where the volcanic plume is underneath the island, say it's right here where the center is.
Yeah.
But over the years, this thing has moved forward and the plume's staying there. That's why it's growing farther to the south. So
I've also seen video evidence that it is slowly starting to sink a little bit, but not in a catastrophic movement.
And that's the other thing too. If it is a slow motion slide,
there's nothing to worry about.
There's no. It would have to be the entire half of the island going.
Yeah.
Doosh.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sure we've all played in a bathtub before.
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's
So that's where that's at.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is though, for the so it would take half this island falling off for a significant wave to hit the United States
in a cataclysmic way as well. Yeah.
And it's going to be something horrific to cause half the island or even quarter of the island to fall off.
Yeah, 7.5 plus, like right there on the island. I would.
So some of the guys I was talking to saying it's going to have to be at least a 9.5 to up.
You're probably more versed than I am. I just learn a little bit here, there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got a few friends over at USGS.
Yeah.
And anyways, so the picture up here is the picture of the island and stuff. So anyways, let me pull up another one here and show you what I wanted to tell you from begin with. So if I type in Florida, topographical map. Ooh, there we go. There's the good one. Here's the one. This one here actually lit, and this one here it gets it more clear. The elevations, and so you got a lot. And getting into the yellows here, 150 feet, 150 feet, 150. Okay, yeah. So most of it's up. The 300 and stuff's up here in the Panhandle. But you got when you're starting to get green, you're at 50 feet. The really dark green is into the 100 feet, and then the yellows yellow green is into 150, and the yellow orange is in 200 feet, etc. So you can find maps like this on every map in the Union.
That's
and this one here has another chart down below here and lists it in more detail exactly per colors. But there's this one here breaks out a lot of colors too. So you just pick out the one you want to get, save it, blow it up on your screen, and see what it looks like for whatever state you're looking at.
Yeah.
So all right. So we're in here pretty good. Let's go back and look at some stuff here. First, let me bring up this. This is from the National Weather Service, dealing with NOAA and all the other ones and stuff. This is a paper from their talking points for East Coast mega tsunami caused by, I can't pronounce that, the one on La Palma there. And this is just a one-page document. Anyone can download this. It's a PDF. You can download it. And it talks about it and goes through everything on it here. And here's the point I like. the potential for a full failure and total collapse of the volcano and creation of a large damaging tsunami along the East Coast is extremely low.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And then they did talk about the inundation maps created by the University of Delaware, Rhode Island for use, And another one talks about it. They said that which potential landslide and earthquake sources which could impact the East Coast, United States East Coast.
Yeah.
And it says tsunami producing smaller waves have happened on the East Coast, but have been caused by earthquake generated offshores or weather phenomenon called meadow tsunamis. Now, one of the things, where's the, is that in this one or is one of the other ones here? I'm looking real quick here. Okay, this is just talking all about the, and that's the end of it. This is talking all about that volcano having a failure and collapsing. It has some more resources you can go to. But the thing is, while damaging tsunamis are uncommon along the East Coast compared to other regions of the world, they're possible that they could happen. Okay, so let me go ahead and drop that down. So anyone, all you need to do is you look up stuff, and you can find this document to download.
The Meadow tsunami, is that the event I was talking about in Alaska? Is that what it's called?
No.
Okay.
That was an earthquake. That was an earthquake one. The Meadow ones are ones caused by like a super hurricane. They'll bring in, unusually, high, the 50-foot high,
storm surge?
Storm surge, yeah.
Okay.
Let's drop that off. Okay, we did that one. Okay, well, let's go over here. This is from the USGS, and it's talks about tsunamis all around. Talks about what they are. And here's the interesting thing: is most of the fault lines in the Pacific Ocean are subduction zones, and that's what causes the worst type of tsunamis, because basically the landmass, as this one moves under, it tucks, and twing.
Yeah.
All right. And that's what this drawing here indicates.
So I'm kind of, just a hypothesis here, or just a thought, like, would there be caverns for water to escape down and not much of a tsunami effect? Just thinking out loud.
Well, usually what happens as it's curling under, it breaks.
Which
so
would
part of
create
it stays there, and the rest of it pushes back up. Yeah. And then the lower one, because it's pushing down as it folds under, pops up as well.
Correct, but even with the breakage would create caverns and all of that movement. I'm just thinking, really.
Whatever caverns are there would fill up on the returning wave. Not as
because of the initial ping and all that.
It throws it all away,
yes.
And then it all comes back, and it can interdate through and go all down and stuff like that. But not during the ping.
Yeah, per se ping.
Yeah, exactly. So talks about different ones: Japan, Hawaii, Alaska, and what you're talking about in Alaska. Alaska was the 1957 9.1. Hey, that's the year I was born. One, and there's a lot of information here on it.
Yeah.
But basically, the one from Alaska sent tsunamis down along the Pacific coast of Canada and the United States. And probably for the United States, the worst hit area was Crescent City, because the Crescent City is called Crescent because of the bay. And all that water that came down, hit that bay, and just turned and just right on up and flooded, I think it was 2/3 of the city.
Yeah. There was another event that I was referring to as well, Gil. Something happened where kind of like the La Palma thing, where half the landslide crashed in the ocean.
Okay, there was another one here in 1964, a 9.2 earthquake up there in Alaska. just reading here. Oh, landslides in coastal fords such as Valdez also generated some extreme damaging waves from it. So there was landslides, all part of it elsewhere, but it was all came together. That's why, the 64 is the one that actually took out most of Crescent City.
So those landslides you just read about actually caused damage 75 feet up like the bowl end of the other side. You know what I mean? Just the splash back of it.
Yeah.
They caused damage 75 feet up. So just a little lake area can receive a decent sized tsunami given the right events happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I talked to people about in the San Francisco Bay Area about the San Francisco Bay between San Francisco and Oakland. It's like a big bowl.
Yep.
You wiggle a bowl of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slosh.
And so that's the big concern there is the Hayward Fault, or the one that nobody really talks about that runs up the middle of the San Francisco Bay. That one would cause a significant type tsunamis in the bay.
Yeah.
But, this talks about all the ones there, and then it gets down, goes through the West Coast, and it says, this is part of the photo from in the 1960s for Crescent City. Oh, it also talked about up here. What was the other one here? Besides Alaska, there was another one down. There was one from South America that came up too, but so that's West Coast, Gulf Coast. All right, here's Gulf Coast. Here's the thing. All around the Atlantic, all of the fault lines and stuff are slip and slide.
Yeah.
Not subduction, except one location, the Caribbean. Mm. And that's why the Caribbean down there around Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and the islands there are of such concern, because that's a subduction zone. Mm. And that's what causes the worst tsunamis. But it talks about the East Coast one. So I guess this paper is a good one from the USGS for anyone that's really interested in it. It's easy to find, and you can just go through it. And then it has other, fact sheets from the USGS, for the Caribbean, Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, and other ones too. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands are more than susceptible to the tsunamis and stuff, because they are also partially on that subduction zone as well.
Yeah.
So that's the USGS one. Now let's hop over to come on, brain work. Portugal for the 1755 what's called the Lisbon quake off of there, and Wikipedia has a good article on it. I've double checked most of the stuff on here as being accurate. I didn't go through and check it all, but it talks about it. Talks about all the different places it hit. It happened on All Saints Day, November 1st, 1755. Talks about the tsunami that came up onto the coast of...
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, Carol.
Hey, I got to turn my thing off. There we go.
That came up onto the coast and did a lot of damage there. Lisbon lost 85% of its buildings. The tsunami here at... smaller settlements. Had the sea penetrating about 150 meters, for almost 500 feet inland. Towns in North Africa were also affected, and it goes through. So there's information here, but this is an historical event that happened. From this, all the stuff they talk. There's only one notification from down in Brazil of them saying they had some large waves. And, this was unusual. Do you know anything about it? Because, ships sailing back and forth, it was, there's a while long before they found, oh, you had a major earthquake. Oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
But there was nothing reported that I've been able to find. And if everybody can find it, I would love to see it on the East Coast of the United States.
Yeah. No.
I'm just
So-
responding to side chat. I'm listening at the same time. I'm dead. Either way, there's no way I can get out. I'm too low in the state.
Well,
this
just as long as
happens.
it's not more than 10 feet, you're safe.
Yeah. Our walls will probably hold it back that we have along the coast in Palm Beach. We have walls built up where the rich people are.
Yeah.
That kind of
So it'll
hold it
hit
back.
the rich people first.
Yeah, it'll actually hit Trump's Mar-a-Lago first. It'll take that out and then go into.
So the rich people are good for something for you, Carol.
Yeah.
Serve as a barrier. Yeah.
First line of defense.
Yeah. All right. So that, you got, anyone can look up the Lisbon 1755 earthquake, read up on how that, and this is a historical event of showing how the tsunami affected. They talked about, from this one, they talked about, where was it? Talked about England, England and Ireland in here somewhere. I spent more time yesterday reading this, and I just, but yeah, so, it actually did affect, because it was so far north, it did affect Ireland and England. I think they talked about like a 10-foot or 9.5-foot tsunami, surge wave that hit there.
Which really isn't much. Like I was playing around with it today, and a 10-footer is still a quarter mile before it hits me.
They get 15-foot waves from the nor'easters.
Yeah. 20 even. We last year New York saw a 20-foot storm, 22-foot storm surge.
Yeah.
Everybody's still alive.
crazy.
They just had a lot of good footage on YouTube. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Our
Now the
surfers
next
would be out in it.
Yeah.
Exactly, Carol. Yeah, those crazy guys with the kites and the surfboards, whatever that is.
Totally
That's
would be
nuts.
trying to do that. Yep.
Here's the next interesting one, another historical one here. This is the 1929 Grand Banks earthquake. And so the Grand Banks are up there off of the tip of up there by Prince Edward Island and, off of Canada there. And so this was a 7.2 earthquake up there. And one of the things that he talked about it snapped 12 submarine transatlantic telegraph cables.
Wow.
Huh.
Because it shifted in two places on it. But the tsunamis from it was ranged from 9.8 to 26 feet. And the run-ups was 43 feet. And this was along the Burin Peninsula that destroyed many south coastal communities on the peninsula, killing 27 or 28 people, leaving 1,000 or more homeless. However, the shockwaves was recorded as far away as Portugal. It took 2.5 hours to strike Burin, Newfoundland, which was 210 miles away from the epicenter, and only 2 hours to be observed in Bermuda. So as it hit out in the open area, it traveled faster than it did along the coastline. And what was interesting here, trying to find it again, because it was traveling along the coastline, the tsunami wave dramatically reduced as it went along. Because they had interacting with all the shoreline as it moved down, just took all the energy away and forced it back out into the open ocean. Yeah.
And we have canal systems too that would break it up a little bit while it's coming in.
Yeah.
And flush it in all different directions. So
and that's the thing is if you get something breaking up, moving it this way and this one and it hits each other, it negates energy.
Using nature against itself.
I mean, exactly. I was in Sebastian at 6-foot swells, and I know surfers go for more. Real surfers, like it didn't seem that big until you're out in it trying to learn.
Yeah.
And they would be out in 14-footers. They would be so excited.
Oh yeah.
So let me bring.
The only thing with the tsunami is it it moves inland and doesn't really give them like the movement that they want as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to drop this down. And so I'm going to skip ahead back here, go through these again. So there was the Lisbon one. Like I say, from that Lisbon one, which was very dramatic and caused, so a lot of the scientists and stuff says even if half the island went down in from that volcano, it's not going to have near the impact that the Lisbon did.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's what I was hearing. A lot of people were fear mongering like the old reports, but then the scientists came out and said, no, that's not what should happen. And they did something to combat the reports that were coming out.
Okay. And so this was talking about there in the Caribbean here. Let me zoom in on that for this one here. So this was a NOAA and the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center and the United States East Coast Tsunami System people put together a model back in August 17th, 2020. The runtime and the target date was for March 11th, 2021. This was supposedly a 8.5 magnitude earthquake. All right.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing to pay attention to. Unfortunately, it did everything in meters. Why can't they keep it in feet? I don't know. So the green area had tsunamis of 0.3 meters. Basically a foot.
Yeah.
All right. The yellow is anywhere from 1 foot to 3 feet. And hey, look at all these islands protecting Florida.
Yeah.
It breaks it up.
Break it up.
Yep.
The orange here, closer to the epicenter, went from 3 feet to 9 feet. And then you got the red and purple right here. The deep purple there, where it pushed all the water away and came back in and slapped up high, had a 23-foot wave coming back in.
Yeah.
Which is to be expected when it pushes all that water away and it all funnels back to the one point. You're going to have all that building up as it comes back in.
Sloshing, yeah.
Yeah. And so, that was an 8.5 earthquake. This close to the coast. And you look up here on Florida and Georgia, South Carolina, nothing. You're talking inches of yeah. And so people that are out there saying, "Oh, if that volcano breaks in half, it's going to wipe us all out." And what's Carol throwing up here?
She's a woman.
Is there a subtitle way?
You gotta look at her. That's a surfer.
Yeah.
Right there. A
And
female
that's
surfer.
probably a 30-foot wave.
It's huge.
Right?
I forget what the article said. Yeah, they surf them in Brazil too, off the coast. Nope, it's a 70-footer. Kai Lenny wrote a 70-foot wave.
So there it is, right there. Like,
yeah, they just have the coastline to break it apart before it comes up. So yeah.
So
I've seen those too.
Like
Killer.
Jay was saying in there, grab a surfboard and ride it. Yeah, he can play Snake Plissken from Escape from L.A.
Yep.
Yeah.
Emma's like, okay, no, just no. Yeah, I'm with you, Emma. It wouldn't
It's
be me.
not, what's showing here is not going to be
as bad. It's
it's all right.
Yeah,
it is not going to be a wave like that coming into the
something like it would take a meteor crashing into the Atlantic Ocean about the size of, I don't know, what wiped out the dinosaurs to create something like that.
You probably need a meteor about this a little bit bigger or twice the size of what made Meteor Crater in Arizona.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
This
it's
whole
probably
Space
like
Force
100
thing,
yards across or so.
Yeah.
the whole Space Force thing, I don't know. They're probably planning things like that for, I don't know.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, it's a whole other conversation. But they can make things catch on fire that are against the United States. So I'm sure
Hey,
they
I
just
think
got
we
the-
had 0 point energy in the 50s.
All right, Tibor says the most important thing is wave speed more than height.
Yes.
And generally, what they tracked on a lot of stuff, you get anywhere from 600 to 800 miles an hour for your speed. Your higher speeds are from subduction zone snaps, where the landfall and it snaps and really forces it out. The landslide ones and stuff generally are around 600 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so good. Prep for it. Listening while soaking.
Yeah.
You don't want to be soaking in tsunami, but I would just think of Indonesia, like what Tibor said. I think it was Indonesia where it just came in and it really wasn't that high, but it wiped out the whole area. It killed a ton of people.
Yeah, because it was
horrible.
basically flat. There was
Like
no
us.
and it just kept on going and going and going.
And I think it was kind of rising too a little bit as it was coming in. It seemed like.
Well, that's called the run. It'll build up as it pushes in, as it keeps piling behind it. It lifts it up. That's the run up onto it, and just goes in so much. And that's one of the things
The displacement of water is what's causing that.
That just
now, one of the things I did notice. See if I can go bring it back here real quick here. We go back to the one on the Atlantic. This one here. Okay, on the Lisbon one here. What's interesting is they're showing how the waves were affected. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. The underwater formations change how it moves, because here it's here, and then all of a sudden, this part here at 2 hours it slows down because it hits the underwater formation, and this part of it here starts going faster. And then here it starts buckling back as it slowed down, and it gets down, it's still slowing down. And then here it compresses here and it speeds up over here because it's open here, and here it's getting compression to slow it down. And so the water, the ocean isn't a bowl. There are mountains and valleys and everything.
Yeah.
And a current from like a tsunami interacts and cause all sorts of turbulence, just like the wind does when it goes over mountains.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of changes here. And you look up here when it gets up to Ireland and England, see how close they kind of packed up against each other as they hit the ridge there, and it just kind of, because that is a major cliff ridge there, and that stopped a lot of action. That's why they only had 10-foot run up there.
Yeah.
10-foot waves.
Like running a car into a wall, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
See, that's the thing. What would happen up here by New Brunswick, and that is they would hit there and slow it down a lot there, and still down here along the East Coast. Look at that wall.
Yeah.
Jersey Shore will be excited, except for they'll get wiped out. The surfers up there would love those kind of waves, and then they'll take out the boardwalks and everything again. It'll be horrible.
I'm gonna take a quick look, make sure I got everything here. I've gone everything. Make sure I got all my data. I went through all of that, and I went to the talking points. Yeah. So I covered just about everything I had. And so, when you hear people talk about, La Palma's going to wipe out the East Coast. No, it's going to be something. It's going to be
you're so smart.
So, just about half the island is going to have to go fast.
Yeah.
To cause anything.
Yeah.
And like you said, Chris, it's already settling and moving and shifting, and it's already has taken on the aspect of a slow motion action.
Yeah.
So,
which I've seen. I forget who it is. It's Bear something who lives over there. I can't remember the YouTuber Bear something, and he gives you day-to-day reports. And I watched.
Oh yeah, I've watched him.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Wonderful.
His name.
I can't either. Bear prepper or bear something. Bear prepping.
Something.
Me either.
It has no relevance to earthquakes or anything, so that's why I can't remember it.
Yeah.
But
Bushcraft Bear. Kaylin said it. Bushcraft Bear. That's his channel.
Yes.
Thanks,
Bushcraft
Kaylin.
Bear. He did day to day, and you saw just the ledge slowly sliding down day by day. So it's not going to be an instant boom. which people are fear pointing about. It's just going to be a gradual thing unless there's the earthquake that Gil mentioned. Then we may have to worry a little.
Like Ben Davis was worrying about the volcano when I had all the stuff in September. He goes, all right, I don't think it's going to happen, but there is a slight possibility. He ran the numbers and stuff of all of a sudden it going whoosh. Yeah. But the way it went, and once it started venting lava and stuff, then the quakes, they had a couple of jumps, and then they started going down again as pressure was relieved.
Yeah. I really think the odds are higher of a meteor impact to the ocean causing more damage than that. I think the odds are higher for that. I'd put my money on the meteor, basically.
Yeah.
And when was the last time you saw a meteor tsunami, people?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing with the mentioning about Atlantic versus Pacific, only the Caribbean has the subduction zone. Everything else is a slide zone, whereas most of the Pacific is all subduction zones. Even what they do along the San Andreas, part of it is it's sliding as it goes under a little bit. So it's not just it's sliding and it's as it goes under just a little bit of time. It's not a true subduction zone down near Southern California and the Baja California. Now, when you get up above Crescent City, then you hit the Cascadia subduction zone.
Yeah. So if it's a say that word for me, my brain.
Subduction zone.
Thank you. If it's one of those zones, is there any way while they're shifting that the waves could go down if they open up the earth?
Chris asked that. So basically you have like for the Cascadia subduction zone, you have the North American plate, you have the Pacific plate. The Pacific plate is going under and the North American plate buckles and it goes twink and it goes twink. Yeah. And that happens about every 1,000 years, 500 years, 1,000 years. That has a
we're probably about due.
It's like
we're about due
for a lot of this.
Yeah, it's 80 years overdue right now.
Yeah. And the last major one that they had up there.
I'll pass.
And I froze. The last major one they had up there, I'm trying to remember the date. But in Japan got hit by a really nasty tsunami, and they recorded it all up and down Japan's coast and stuff.
Yeah,
and the dates and stuff. And then when the different like the Spanish came up so far up California, and the Russians came over, and they were all talking to the Native Americans, and they were calculating back when there was this massive earthquake and the water went this way and the water came back and it ran up the Klamath River, and you still see the gorge marks up the Klamath River where the returning water went up and just scoured the tree line.
Yeah.
And there's they were comparing dates and hey, wait a minute, this matches up with what Japan was saying.
My concern more is the snakes and the gators that will be like all around if we have that extra water. Even if it's salt water, like it'll be pushing them up and they're like at the top.
Exactly.
Trying to survive.
In New York, after that 22-foot storm surge, there was actually sharks in the subways that they found.
Holy crap.
So
thank you.
That does happen, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how many of those sharks were still alive when they got to them.
No. You saw a couple of them swimming in the streets, and then you saw the aftermath of all of it. Absolutely, Gil. But
because once the water starts going away, they can't breathe.
No.
Unlike the gators down there in Florida.
Yeah, not to mention all the oils and nastiness all throughout.
Gross. Yeah, that probably killed them right away. They're like,
like what is this?
Probably ran into sewage too. They're like, oh, my gills.
No, what happened? Urban myth time. Yeah. When any sharks got into the sewer system, the alligators ate them.
All right. Sounds like Florida. That could be happening below our state all the time. Never know.
Yeah.
Probably where Florida man and Florida woman breed too is down there. All their offspring are nuts running.
I'm just checking on the side chat here. Haystacking is what they, as Tibor was saying, they call it the water flow into the deeper depth will rise in on the other side faster than it's pouring in. Yeah, so when it pours in, it kind of swooshes it up the other side.
Tibor, were you like a geologist? Like, what the heck, dude? You're like dropping the knowledge over there. I mean, Chris and Gil do too, but I'm like, wow, okay,
Hey,
I've never heard of
Tibor
that.
has a lot of interesting knowledge.
Yeah.
I study at YouTube University, guys. I have 9th grade education. So,
hey, it's about teaching yourself. My kid has probably about a 9th grade education from homeschooling because I was like, you can teach yourself at this point. So teach yourself. I'm not going to teach you things that you're not going to need and that you're going to kill me for. So
I don't want to sit here and pat myself on the back, but I think I'm kind of educated through YouTube. Kind of.
Yeah.
I can hold up a decent conversation. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're a river rat. Still, Tibor. My goodness. You need to like put videos up. You really have some knowledge.
Yeah.
Because it keeps unsubbing me from his channel because he doesn't have videos.
Yeah, there's a lot of people waiting for Tibor to put something out.
Yes. We're going to have a big party then.
That and Joe Serrano, the only guy I know with no videos.
Joe. I know.
Subs. Like, what?
He needs to do like a cooking or something because he's always talking about
food.
You
how much he supports right there.
Yeah. He's been in the gardening community a long time, the gardening and homesteading community, a long time.
Yep.
Yeah. Tibor, you don't have to show your face in your videos. It's like in most of her videos, Martha Old School Prepper never shows herself. Most of her videos. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that don't show themselves. They show what they're shooting.
Yeah. Abby too, over at Bountiful Harvest doesn't show herself. She just shows what she's doing, but she doesn't show from the
actually when she was cooking, I thought the all day cooking, I thought she showed herself a little bit on that one.
Oh, I missed it. I missed that part.
Because she was going all around the kitchen doing stuff and she had the camera set up as she was doing stuff. I thought she showed herself.
I wonder if she knows she did that though. You're electronically challenged.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm learning.
All right, so I want to wrap this up here where we've been up.
Oh yeah.
All right, tomorrow night on Camp Patton Family Compound, Friday night at Homestead, it's just going to be a New Year's Eve party.
Cool.
We're going to talk about stuff, what happened this year, what we're looking forward to in the year to come. It's just going to be a big open chat. Cool. Other than it being New Year's Eve, there's no topic.
Yeah, I know.
So it's going to be kind of open to all. I expect a lot of poop troopers to come in there from Wide Family Farm, and
for sure.
I have a feeling about
we'll support you.
About an hour and a half in, we'll probably hit the poop.
I made Courtney something. I sent it to her in one of our messenger groups because we were talking about Grease from Joe's thing. The pink ladies. I couldn't find the right pink color though. I'm so bad at editing. I'll learn one day though. But that sounds cool, and you can run into my time zone because I don't know if I'm going to use it with the sickness in my house, Gil.
Yeah. So just let me know, and we'll hand off.
Okay, sounds great.
All right.
Thanks for inviting me, Gil. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to hear what some of your thoughts were being down there in Florida, because that's
Florida people don't worry about that stuff because they just have to deal with the day-to-day weirdness of everybody coming to our state now, trying to get out of the cities.
Yeah.
And we have all that going on, and also just the thought of losing our governor. If we lose our governor, it feels like we lose our covering over the state because everything else that's going on, like they're thinking more about that than I think they're thinking about the tsunami. At least those that support Governor DeSantis,
right?
So well, I don't think they think too much.
Finally showed up. Hey, Anna.
Hey, Anna. I haven't seen Anna Lee around in a while. It's good to see you. But yeah.
And so that's what's coming up tomorrow night. Monday, We're getting back in the swing of animals and stuff, and landscaping, gardening and homesteading,
Cool.
and talk about moving animals around in the winter and the problems and hassles of that. Tuesday, we're going to talk about your current DEF CON status, and that's going to be an unusual one. Interesting, but a little unusual.
Sounds
so that's what's coming up,
Thanks,
folks.
Tibor. I have 2 of both, Tibor, by the way. I have the ones that are easily digestible for people maybe who have had surgery on their, stomach, which I haven't had, but I just figured they would be easier for me to dissolve and take in. So thank you. That was sweet. Yeah. All right, Gil, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Okay. So everyone, last words, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps, water, food, medication, clothing, and skills. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yep.
All right.